Death's Talisman, the first 2 books in the Lady of Death series from Three Ravens Publishing. Wait, how can I convey that much intrigue, magic, and swagger in 75 words? What about the consigliere, the creatures, the victims, that crazy dragon skull? Just 75 words? Find the Lady of Death books by J.F. Posthumus, narrated by Teri K. Jobe, on Amazon.
Branded as traitors and exiled from every city along the crystalline sea, brothers Kildare and Zidane struggle to find their place in the world. Burning with the fires of vengeance, they lead lives as instruments of blood and steel, beholden to no one. By a cruel twist of fate, the two encounter a mysterious tribeswoman who will change their destiny and the fate of the entire world. The Raven and the Crow, Dark Storm Rising, by Michael K. Falciani, and narrated by Joshua Saxon. Available from Three Ravens Publishing on Amazon.
Do you love sparkly vampires? Well, too bad, because you won't find a single one of those fancy bloodsuckers in this collection. It came from the Trailer Park, a fun collection of horror and old-school creature feature with a hefty helping of B-rate tropes thrown in for good measure. From aliens to demons to werewolves and so many more, you're sure to fall in love with these tales of the macabre. So come on in, take a load off, and get yourself ready for 19 unforgettable tales straight from the Trailer Park. It Came from the Trailer Park, from Three Ravens Publishing, narrated by Talon Beeson. Available on Amazon.
Listen up, you slack-ass minions. The podcast will start in a few, so burn your fucking snuggies, turn off the animal porn, and get your ass ready. Here come the show.
Oh, crap. An auspicious beginning, to be sure. Forgot that was on. All right, so welcome to the Hump Day Hangout from TDB Pirate Radio. I am your host, William Joseph Roberts, and tonight we have the lovely J.F. Posthumus and the thing behind her that, kind of helps sometimes. Yeah. And then we have Teri, who is the voice of pretty much everything that Mark and Jimmy have put through Three Ravens already. Yeah. Yeah, with the exception of Koost. So, give us a rundown real quick. Who you are, what you write, what you got going on.
I am J.F. Posthumus. I write urban fantasy and sometimes sci-fi or thrillerish type stuff, fantasy. Currently have several novels out. Taking the Night, which is kind of a, how would I describe that?
Taking the Night is really more of a pardon me, the Slayer needed attention. Taking the Night is kind of an urban fantasy, but more in the superhero genre with a bit of a twist.
Yep.
Kind of Goodfellas meets a really pissed off Wonder Woman.
Yep. That's a good description, which I didn't load the image for that. I'll have to add that one in. I don't have that one. Crap.
I'm her not so silent partner, her hetero life partner, as she likes to call me, and I don't mind that at all. I'm her husband. I'm the other part of J.F. Posthumus. Basically, when she writes herself into a corner, it's my job to write her out.
He's good at it too.
Well, yeah, I've gotten good at it from practice.
I'm good at writing the corners. So
She's so
that's
very good
someone.
at writing the corners, let me assure you.
Okay, well, what about your Lady of Death series?
Now, the Lady of
Lady
Death
of Death
series.
is about Catherine Wolfe, who is a necromancer who has
She's
a
spent-
Fae mom.
Yeah, she has
who's
a Fae
queen,
mother and a sort of human father.
and she had a very
She's been alive for over 300 years. Her parents are even more long lived. She is living in the Shenandoah Valley, which is where we live and where we love to write through.
mostly Stanton and Waynesboro.
Yeah, if you want to bring attention to those tiny little towns. Although if you don't live in Virginia, you're going to look at the one and say, is that Staunton? No.
It's
Up your
Stanton.
nose, it's the South. Stanton. That's how it works. But and there we go. There's the first book. We are getting ready to release the third book in the series. See, we put out Fae's Amulet,
Death's Talisman,
and then the next one coming up is the Staff of
Chaos.
All here in like 2 weeks.
And we have a lot of fun writing these, and we got very fortunate that we have someone who really. Okay, that's not us for once.
Nope, dogs.
That's your dogs. Our dogs are currently outside wondering why we have forsaken them. But that's okay.
We love them. They do their job, and at some point they might be barbecue.
You're going old school on that. All right, good deal.
I have no idea who that is. Whoever the Facebook user is.
The unknown Facebook user says we're looking good. It's lovely. Anyways, yeah, there we go. It's print proper. It's lovely. And as I was saying, we've been very fortunate that Teri came along and became the powerhouse voice of everybody in our universe. She actually taught us a few things about our characters. I have to say that
We'll never hear Makel's voice.
no, we will never hear Makel's voice
other
in
than
anybody.
hers.
Yeah, there's a dragon lich who currently resides in a skull. Currently is trapped in a skull, actually, and he's kind of the sidekick to our main character, Kat. And we had different ideas about how he sounded vocally, and Teri nailed it on the first try. So we're like, yeah, that's her. She's the one. She's the one, and she's been magnificent. We actually still listen to our own audiobooks, not because we're vain, but because she does such a great job. We're just like
It's
constantly
fun.
giggles.
Yeah.
And we actually get the jokes that we put in there. She actually inflects where we want. So it's been a wonderful merging of creative minds. So
Well, and like I was mentioning backstage there as we were talking,
Yeah.
The guys over at Sci-Fi Radio, all the listeners and everything, they were quoting it word for word because you know how commercials are. They just get stuck in your head and all that. And the one that I ran on Sci-Fi Radio, it just got to the point where it was like it was that homey feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because they knew exactly what was coming up next because, they use the same pattern and all that.
Yeah.
And when it changed up, they were like, oh. But here's a little sample for anybody that likes narrators.
I have just 75 words to tell you why you'll enjoy Fae's Amulet and Death's Talisman, the first 2 books in the Lady of Death series from Three Ravens Publishing. Wait, how can I convey that much intrigue, magic, and swagger in 75 words? What about the consigliere, the creatures, the victims, that crazy dragon skull? Just 75 words? Find the Lady of Death books by J.F. Posthumus, narrated by Teri K. Jobe, on Amazon.
So,
There we have it.
Teri, what have you thought about the Lady of Death series that you've been narrating for us?
I like this series. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of that fantasy element to it. There's some realism to it as well, but there's enough things that I get to really play with vocally, and that's so much fun. Like Mako. This is what he sounds like. I get to have fun with this. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And really, she's inspired when we were into book 3. She actually inspired some of Makel's dialogue. Because we're like,
God, what have I done?
You're going to say that? No, that's probably easier for her to say it this way. So we've actually taken her performances into consideration because she's done so well with the character. And again, she's captured everybody. I mean, even the ones that were like, oh, I didn't really think about that. That works. for some of them. Kat, she nailed right off the bat. Sterling, she had the voice for. Sterling is one of the major players in the series. The consigliere of the Magical Council, to be more precise. And he even found we had an idea for one character that shows up on occasion named Xantos. He also is going to play a major part in our Kasari series, which is a high fantasy series that will be starting later this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep, sometime mid this year, and then the anthology was August. I don't remember. I'd have to look back.
Sometime later in the summer. But she was like, what kind of voice do you want this guy to have? I'm like, I have exactly the episode and the actor in mind. And she kicked back with spot on. Just nailed it. And considering the actor, and it's nice to see someone who can just vocally stretch. I'm old school audiobook fan, have been for decades. So Frank Muller was my go-to, him and Jim Dale. So when Teri and I were talking about this, because Jen's like, you audio nerds are just do your thing. I'm out of this. And she and I were just able to go back and forth and be like, what about this? What about this? And she's like, I got this. I'm like, oh, beautiful. Yeah, let's do that. So it just, again, it's been a wonderful collaboration. And whenever we write stuff and we're really proud of it, we're like, I can't wait for Teri to read this. So
I got a feeling I know who that is.
Oh, there's more than a few. You know a few of them, but yeah.
Well, consider Spay Wars right there. I'd say that would be a New Yorker that's trying to chime in here. What's up, John? All right, so what has been your favorite part of the Lady of Death series to write and to narrate?
Oh,
favorite?
Well, honestly, the favorite part was actually how the whole series started.
Oh, yeah.
How the whole series started, because it was not meant to be any kind of full-length novels or anything like that.
Well, a friend of ours was going through a very rough time. She and her husband,
At the time.
now ex-husband, they'd split, and she was really angry at him.
Yeah, she
had
used social media
yeah.
to the best of its abilities.
Yeah.
It was something.
It was epic. It was
Yeah.
a very epic split. And so I was like, I want to write something to cheer her up. I got just the thing. So I wrote out the death scene.
The corpse. The corpse is found in chapter 2.
Yeah, in
In the
Faye's
very first
Amulet. That was the first scene written in the novel. And I'd been wanting to play around with writing a necromancer. So I write the death scene. I was like, well, I got to have a necromancer, stepping into this.
We play D&D. Guess what she's usually playing?
It's fun. So
All you had to do was tell her, oh, I can raise the dead and make them do things that I want them to do. I'm in.
I'd been in the Masonic building in Stanton, and it's exactly as described.
Yeah.
We kind of explored it a little.
The picture that we talk about in the book that's in her office, I actually have that picture. It's actually hanging in our bedroom.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. Of course, they've since renovated it, but whatever. But
They
yeah,
can't keep anything good alone. No one can.
but I wrote the scene and we
It
gave
is-
it to our friend, and she just laughed. She's like, I keep it on my kitchen table and I read it every so often and giggle. She's like, it always brings a smile to me. So I took that scene and I was like, this should be a novel. And it just
Blew
went
up from
from
there. And
Okay.
she wanted to bring in, what if I'm going to do this and I want to do this? And I'm like, well, okay, you're talking urban fantasy. That'll work. I've been a D&D kid since age 8. I was brought into Tolkien before that. So
we kind of redid the first couple chapters a few times.
yeah, well, that's part of the process,
Yeah.
Right?
It was like what's currently the first chapter didn't start out as the first chapter.
Yeah.
But
It was
editing,
written after, but everything was written after that first scene.
but
But in
that
any
was
case,
probably the most
yeah,
fun.
that scene. In the third book. In the third book that's coming out, that's got one of my favorite scenes that we wrote more or less together. And it involves everything escalating. The Staff of Chaos is basically the literal harbinger of doom because all it does is just make everything cross over. So you've got the most bizarre stuff in the world. There is a scene in the fictional restaurant. Yes, it's fictional, people. But I'm sorry, I haven't opened it yet, but I will one day. But Fellhaven, they're having a meeting at Fellhaven, and then everything goes crazy. Certain kinds of creatures from Saturday morning cartoons attack and just start trying to lay waste to everything and everybody. Well, Cat's there, Sterling's there, and the whole staff is there. And we just had a lot of fun with that from and right up to where they leave Fellhaven. That was one of my favorite scenes that we wrote, and again, cannot wait for Teri to perform that one. I actually think, correct me if I'm wrong, Teri, didn't I tell you that you were going to have to work on your man wail, your man child wail for that one, for the end of that scene?
I think that may have come up in conversation at one point.
What? That you're gonna have to.
Con!
Yeah, exactly. That's the most recent scene that's been a favorite. As far as 1 and 2, oh gosh. And Taking the Night was something we'd done years ago when we were still waiting for Caius.
That was before I even got pregnant with Caius.
That was before he got pregnant with Caius. So we were living in a small apartment, a crappy little apartment.
Wanted to try something different, and I was like, what about,
She's like, well, I want to kind of do something superhero-ish. I'm like, well, I got this guy who's kind of like Batman, but isn't.
And I was like,
the not Batman.
Amazon, darker Wonder Woman. What if Wonder Woman actually killed? Now, at the time, I was thinking of Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. What if she went evil?
Gal Gadot was
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Well, with Taking the Night, you absolutely had a Batman Catwoman thing going on there.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be more of Batman Wonder Woman because that's always been a dynamic. I was like, I get the Superman Wonder Woman thing. I also think that Aquaman and her would make more sense because they have they're away from everything American, so they would have in common. But
okay, so Teri, what have you thought about the series, and what's been the most fun part to narrate with it? What character have you really fell in love with portraying?
Ooh.
I got an idea.
You're scared. My two favorite characters to voice. My two favorite characters to voice are either Mako and Xantos. They are the two most fun to play with, and they are the most different from each other. Like Mako's up there, and he's a shit. That's what he is. That's what he does. He makes trouble sometimes. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have Xanthos, who is very refined and has it more put together. But those are probably the most fun things I get to do with this series, and I love it.
Yeah, wait until the Corsair series.
You've mentioned this. I'm concerned.
You have reason to be
concerned.
What was the worst part of the series to work on? Whether writing or narrating? On the narration side, where was your tongue twister? What one did you screw up over and over and over again and have to come back and redo it?
Oh, God. I can think of one example if she doesn't. Remember the one you couldn't keep a straight face on? Took you like 12 tries.
Well, actually, the hardest thing has been getting names. Yeah, the cat's mother. She has been the hardest person to voice.
Vivian.
Ironically. Also, it's when I figured out that I cannot do an Australian accent. At least not well.
It's okay.
So it's just like, you know what? She's a fake queen. I'm just going to shift it and make it weird. That works.
Well, the idea being that the Australians and New Zealanders have influences from the Fae, but they don't sound the same. It's a nice slide around.
Yeah. So her dialogue, I always have to think about, and it's like, okay, what am I emphasizing how does she sound like? Nope, I didn't emphasize that this particular syllable this time. Do it again. But she's still fun.
Well,
Just difficult.
The one thing that really just blew us away, aside from when we first heard Mako, we're like, oh my god, that's him. Just hearing her doing Cat, because she gave Cat more of a Victorian era inflection, and we're like, yes, she got the cadence, she got the pacing of that, and that's her holdover. She's not one of those, I have to be in the moment, I have to be in the now when it comes to how she speaks and how she approaches things. She's actually more in the, I really like this era and I don't want to leave it. And we all have that period, come on, man, 80s for me and the boss man over there were like, hey man, come on, spandex was the thing. And everybody's got that era that they're like, I lived through that and I really wish things didn't change much from that. So for her, it was the Victorian era.
Yeah.
They were starting to have indoor plumbing. It was lovely. So spend a few hundred years without it. See if you don't think that's the greatest thing invented since the wheel. Oh yeah. So,
hardest thing to write.
What did we screech and fuss over the most? I think it was actually book 2.
Actually, Staff of Chaos. We had the hardest time getting that one written from start to finish because of figuring out how to get from point A to point C.
That's true. That's true.
We knew where we started. We knew what we wanted to end. It was getting the middle
piecing everything around
to go together.
See, there you go. 2050s. Good times. Good times. But usually it's a matter of when you have, your starting point, your ending point, and then everything has to come in between. But you've got so much webbing to pull back together until it fits. And
all the little bits and pieces, all the little strings.
Yeah, and of course, Scott, you write plenty, so you know how it is when you're off on something, and then you come back a few days or weeks later and go, oh, that was a tangent. That fits this not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, how am I going to work that? We had some times with book 3 especially, but book 1 kind of came together easily. Book 2, we were trying to not spend too much time on one aspect or another, so it was more balanced. Book 3, because there was so much to do, is like, how do we pace this so it doesn't feel?
It was also, we wanted the guilty person to not be obvious.
We didn't want to do a complete Scooby-Doo where it's like, oh, and
we didn't want the readers to know who it was because Kat didn't know who it was. So it's like, how do you do that and make it organic
without accidentally giving it away or hinting at it?
Or again, doing a Scooby-Doo where you see the person for a brief moment in the introduction, and then it's the person that has the mask at the end. Oh, it's the crazy Eagle crew that introduced us, that said hi to us when we came into the bar. We wanted to avoid that. And I have to give kudos to our editing crew because they catch little things like that. They remind us, hey, you got to make sure people who haven't read book 1 and book 2 know what the hell's going on in book 3, so they aren't lost. And we're like, oops, we got to do that. So that's that was something that we really didn't really consider. We made all these other series, and we're like, oh, we got to do that in the other series that we're writing just to make sure we don't make people go, I don't get it.
Huh?
Oh crap! Now I have to buy these first so many books to figure out what's going on.
You want to inspire people.
Right. You want them to be standalone to the point that you can go ahead and read through.
Exactly.
But leave them wanting to go back and get the others to see what the hell happened.
It's like, oh, that happened? I wonder what that was.
Well, like the Matthew Riley series, Shane Schofield series. It's an action thriller series. Yep. And I actually started on like book 3. Somebody gave me the audiobook. I loved it. I went back and found the others.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same with me and a lot of books. If I hadn't started at the very beginning because I was just so into it with the Shannara series, I could jump in any one of them and be like, ooh, there's a whole world of stuff to pick up. It's not like you pick up Return of the King and go, oh, yeah, I can totally follow this along.
But that's part of the growing pains, though. That's what you learn as you're writing, and especially once you start doing series, you build these little things in.
And it's easy to forget, okay, this is something that a reader isn't going to know if they haven't read the others.
There you go. Okay, Hardy Boys. We could have done a Scooby-Doo or a Hardy Boys. So again, that was something we were trying to avoid. There's only so many stories to tell, and you can only vary them so much. That's a sad truth for anyone in entertainment. But when you go, oh, it's like the magic trick you finally learned, and then you see it everywhere. You're like, I can't do that again. No. We'll put away the cards. We got to find a different way of doing this.
All right, now Teri,
Yes.
what would you say would be your weakest accent or vocal?
Ooh.
Where do you struggle the most?
And have you actually tried to incorporate that into any of these?
Once again, it's the consistency with accents sometimes. Like with Cat's mother especially. What's her name? Help.
Vivian.
Vivian, thank you. That was gonna bug me. Flames on the side of my face. And trying to keep consistent with the Australian accent. I got it for the first few lines, and then I was like, I'd lose it. Like in the middle of a paragraph, it would be gone by the end of it. Because that's when I started saying, okay, that's not going to work. So let's start playing with this. Let's emphasize different things. Let's not make it Australian exactly. Let's just give her her own thing. So I just started playing with it a little bit more, and that's
You had to find the voice for
where
it.
she emerged from, and she emphasizes weird things. That's what she does, especially if she's talking about her daughter. That always gets emphasized. So it's just figuring out what her personality is, and then
Also,
if what they said doesn't work.
That one line, in book 2, where she looks at Sterling and goes, "What is she to you?" Perfect. So perfect. Just from that to his response, beautiful.
That was a fun one.
That was just
different levels.
Perfect.
Now, Mark and Jenny.
Yes.
You said that after listening to her narrate the first ones, it's actually influencing the way that you're writing the story because you know that she's going to be narrating the story.
Yeah. Well, I think
is it fully conscious, or are you catching yourself like, well, shit?
Well,
a little bit of both. I think.
A little bit of both. Where it starts from is when I used to write scripts for little indie films that we used to do here in Virginia, and I knew the actors that would be playing the parts. So
that's where you ended up meeting Bill Oberst.
Exactly. That's when Bill Oberst Jr. We had developed. My cousin and I developed a script, and we wanted to.
We have the Wicked.
They have the Wicked. Wanted to make it happen, and we needed somebody to be that evil henchmanish guy. And Bill, fortunately, found my pitiful little help us be a good film.
Well, it was when he was starting out too.
Yeah, it was when he was still in South Carolina, I believe, in South Carolina theater.
Yeah,
and he and I talked. This was way back in the early days of video chatting and so forth.
It
but
was
he's like
2006.
2006, and he was like, so. Where do who would you see if you cast anybody in the part of this character? Who would it be? And I just immediately went young Max von Sydow, and he went perfect. I can do that, and boy did he. But when I'm writing, when I would write dialogue for people, and I had someone in mind, it was a lot easier to find the flow of how they would speak. And whenever I'm having difficulty or I'm reading over what Jen's written and dialogue just sticks wrong, you're kind of like, okay, I don't think that's how it's going to come out right. And now that we've got Teri and her marvelous performances to use as, a comparison, it's like, no, we'll be punishing Teri if we make her read that line that way.
And there's plenty of times where I've been
works
like,
out for the best.
I've got this. This is what I want to say. Fix it. It's not right. Fix it.
It's true. It's true. And she'll be like, this is wrong. This is what you've done here is wrong.
I know it's not right.
Fix
I know
that.
it's going to need editing. You're going to have to go in and change things so it sounds right.
Yeah. We kind of edit each other. It's just, she loves the sit down and just put it all out there on the page, and I'm the one going, oh God. Okay, we're gonna save that for later. I'm that one. Instead of one of us trying to make one brain like Scott does, squirrels, man, all the squirrels.
Absolutely.
We have 2 cages for the squirrels. Her cage, my cage. Between the 2 of us, it's a lot less stress.
I don't know. I think mine are changing to butterflies sometimes.
Yours turn into dragons and Nebrasu, depending on the day and the time. But I digress. Mine just keep getting bigger and meaner.
So beyond Staff of Chaos,
Yes.
what have you planned?
Well, originally, if I may, Staff of Chaos was supposed to be.
When you gonna let her talk? She's the pretty one.
Ooh.
You're cutting both the ladies out here.
She makes me do all the talking. I mean, when we are at Fantasy, and if she's on a panel, I have to stay in the back of the room and hope she forgets I'm there. Otherwise, she's gonna be like, "Mark, answer that question for me."
See, I'm going to totally do that at one point.
You're gonna have to now.
At some point, I'm gonna grab Scott, find a bar. She's gonna find a fucking barman now. Otherwise, she's gonna make me answer everything.
But he's right. It was going to be a trilogy to begin with. It was going to be Day's Amulet, Death's Talisman, wrap up with Staff of Chaos. And then it's not going to work too well because of the ending of Staff of Chaos. So we needed a 4th novel.
The organic ending.
Yeah.
What we had planned didn't really follow through to what happened. So I stopped now.
Life happens. Writing happens. Squirrels.
Bad Mark.
So it's like, okay, we'll have to do another. Book 4, it's Tome of Evocation. That'll wrap it up. And then I had this horrible idea of what if this happens between Kat and Xantos? That would be horrible. That would be, just what was it you do to your characters? What's the word? It's not punishment, it's
Torture?
torture. Yes, we're torturing the character. Thank you, Teri.
You're welcome.
See, 3 parts. 3 parts.
So
1, 2, 3.
also, it explains in the Lady of Death series how Xantos came to be, his whole lineage and why he has all the power he does. I'm not giving spoilers. So it's like, okay, that would work. Crap, that means there's another novel. Book 5 is going to be, the beginning is very different from the others. It's more
It's not
relationships and internal stuff versus, the world's going to end.
Yeah.
Exactly. So book 5 is going to be different. Well,
Yes, I completely agree with
it
that.
starts differently,
Yes.
and then it goes into Kat having to locate yet something else.
Well, that's really what she does.
And unfortunately, book 5 is going to happen after we do the Corsari novels, because the 3rd novel in the Corsari series takes place the same time book 5 does. They're separate, but the timelines are crossover.
Well, I already have book 2 for Taking the Night yet.
Yes.
Or for the yeah.
You have book 2 of Taking the Night, you have book 3 of Taking the Night, and book 4 of Taking the Night.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I had those yet. I'm like, all right, cool.
You have those 4, and I've done the edits on book 2, I think. It was the first round of edits.
Okay. I got a lot of crap in
We
the
haven't done anything for
inbox.
Taking the Night book 2.
Okay, Taking the Night book 2 I haven't gotten yet, but that's okay. I'm still working through I'm still waiting for the next round of edits for Dark Flowers Prize, the full-length book in the Kasari series.
I'll get to it.
Dude, you got plenty on the plate.
That old time thing. All right, so Teri. Let's see. We are just over 30 minutes for our little Hump Day hangout. What have you got out there besides what you've been working on with Mark and Jenny? Tell us where you can find all your stuff. How can people follow you as a narrator? Because narrators have fan bases just as much as any author, actor, or musician.
Yeah. Actually, those are the only 3 books I have at the moment. I have that pesky thing called a day job. So I try not to put too much on my plate at once in hopes of not getting overwhelmed. It happens anyway. But, hey, I try. I am here on Facebook. I didn't realize I'd have to recall all of my usernames.
You know what
You
she does?
even
Make
so.
a list.
This is your first interview, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, we're popping your interview cherry. It's okay. We love you.
Hey, it's a new thing being famous. Hey. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, which I think is just my usual name, Teri Jobe. I think I have a picture of me in a cool dress. I'm not sure.
Yes,
I
you're
don't remember.
in formal wear. You're in formal wear. It's a lovely
Yes.
picture.
Oh, good. I am on Twitter. Not that I'm doing much with it yet. Once I get a little bit more on base, I will be. Teri K. Jobe. Had the K in there. So that's where I've gotten so far, but I am occasionally auditioning for other things, looking for other authors. No offense, guys. Other things to do.
You guys stay busy. Your talents require it continually get work. So please, we are gonna. We want to still be special and still be able. We got Teri right.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, we are, because we are on the same wavelength somehow, and I am so happy that happened.
Oh,
the little
same.
We get
meetings.
each other.
Even though I was at the gym and just listening in as you guys are back and forth about different scenes and stuff like that, setting up for I guess that one was Death's Talisman. Is when you guys were talking through that one. It's just like being the fly on the wall, listening in was hilarious. But the magic and the energy that was going back and forth was amazing. You guys just clicked together, and that's cool. That's an awesome team.
It's a rare thing,
Yeah.
and we've been very, very fortunate that
Yeah.
we all clicked so well. And again, when you write something out and you have someone who's going to perform it, you hope that somebody's going to get at least some idea. When someone really just is right there on the page, it's incredible. And we've been, like I said, incredibly fortunate. Teri was just like, "Oh, I know what this is. I cracked the code." And she just keeps on rolling with it. So, and again, it inspires us. I mean, that's what you want with a collaborative effort. You want to inspire each other to do better and better. And fortunately, that's what happens with us.
And I've also discovered that if I'm going to use odd languages, fantasy languages, I need a pronunciation.
Yes,
Because when I did the first two, I never realized it was going to be audio. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to quote Rob Salvatore when he was talking about when he was developing the Drisk novels, and he was having the big big hit meeting, and they're like, so what's this character's name? He's like, Drisk, and they're like, spell that. He's like, not a chance in hell. It's like, yeah, you look at that and go, ooh, yeah, there are other people that are going to have to pronounce that, and I'm going to have to say it out loud to people and not embarrass myself. Maybe we'll simplify that then.
Yeah, lesson learned for that. So I'll have pronunciations for the next novel.
Yay.
Like I said, the phrase we're going to have to set aside.
Where can we find your stuff?
I am on Amazon under JF Posthumus. I have a Facebook page that I occasionally use. I try to use it more. It's author JF Posthumus. And I have a website that I don't keep up, but you can find me at jfposthumous.com.
I'll make a Twitter page. I'll run the Twitter page. It's not the Twitterer in the couple here.
He really does do Twitter.
I will do Twitter. I will do Twitter for JF. I'll post it to Three Ravens. So there you go. I'll post it to Three Ravens so we can get word out. And of course, when we see people at Fantasy, we'll be pimping.
Yeah, I've currently been making. You want to grab one?
Neck Dragons.
Yeah.
Staff of Chaos is up for pre-order right now for the ebook, and Ingram is being a total pain in the ass, so we'll get the print set up as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I've been making these for Fantasy.
Ooh, Neck Dragons. Wait, how do
There's also going to be at least they'll probably have a couple of Nebrasu for people who have read them. Oh, there she goes. There's her sister.
Aha, there we go. Wait, you got a neck dragon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course I got a neck dragon.
Yeah.
Yes,
Arilla's
she
sister.
has Arilla's sister. See, Arilla's sister.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I already know 2 or 3 people that when we show up, they're going to be buying neck dragons from you guys.
We're gonna.
They're fun to make. So I've been sitting and sewing and
She
sewing and
she
sewing.
hand makes them all. She's a very crafty one.
Okay, who is Ginkage? You guys must know who that is.
Ah, hello, our dear
Maggie.
Maggie. That is our
Hi,
Maggie.
Maggie.
That is our dear Maggie. One of our lifelong friends, one of our fellow D&Ders, another fellow artist who makes incredible chainmail. And
She made the necklace on
Talisman.
Faye's amulet.
Faye's Amulet, the necklace
She
that's
made
worn by
Cat.
Kat, that was made by her.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so that one?
Yep, that one.
Ooh.
It's
She made that.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's even better in person. The wonderful model friend of ours that is our model as Kat, and we actually based quite a bit of her personality and an appearance on that particular friend of ours. She was like, "Ooh, do I get to keep that?" No, that's all right. Oh, okay. She was distraught about that, but and kudos to our dear friend Visera, the model. She's twice as gorgeous in person and an amazing human being. So
She actually makes bath bombs and soaps.
yeah, she makes beauty products.
She made custom soaps for us. That
for Lady of Death.
yeah, we'll have some in some baskets. We're gonna have at Vanessa.
Yeah.
So, and her stuff is you can find it at Blackbird Mountain.
blackbirdmountain.com, I think. Yeah. But yeah, and we use the stuff all the time. We have little tiny ones, so unless you've got some very rare allergies, we all have some pretty sensitive skin here, and nothing. I think we've had one reaction to one scent, and it just turns out that was an allergy we didn't know we had, and that's just one, our eldest. Everybody else is like, "No, give me that! Oh my god!"
And, here coming up the weekend of March 25th to 27th, you're going to be able to find us at Fantasy in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes, indeed.
Free Ravens table will be set up. Mark and Jenny are coming. Unfortunately, I just read that Eric Flint is not going to be there this year. Sucks. He's still not doing well.
Man.
Health
And
problems, I believe.
Look, who's a guest? Yeah, and then this guy.
Yep.
We'll have fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, lots of fun.
So, anybody looking for a con to do that weekend, come out there, see us in Raleigh.
Yeah, we'll say howdy.
All right, so I am going to wrap this thing up and hit the exit thingy wherever. Damn it, where'd it go?
It's hiding. It wasn't ready to leave.
Squirrel. I need to remember to rearrange these damn things. Oh wait, we got more comments coming in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're actually quite fun and soft and flexible.
Oh, we might have us a visitor coming.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'd love to meet you. We would love to meet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish you could too, Bo. That would be awesome if you got to go to a con. He's over in Japan right now, and he is a fresh daddy.
Oh,
about a week, I think.
Ooh.
Like that.
That sounds right.
But, all right. So this is it for our Wednesday night. Y'all take it easy, have fun, and don't cost me bell money.
All right. See you soon.
Where's the button? Freaking button.